clock is ticking, but there's no time for reasons. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for reasons. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Oh yeah, this is the last FIFA that we are doing. I forgot about that.
We are live. Oh, where's my slides? There we go. All right, we are live. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Game Week 9, episode 44. So, Game Week 9 podcast, episode number 44. I'm joined by Rush and Karan. How are both of you guys doing?
Hey guys, how you doing? This is a much needed break from
Yes.
FPL.
Fair enough. I also enjoyed the international break. How do you go, Rush?
Yeah, it was good. I think a break was good, especially just because the hectic few game weeks that we had before that with like heaps of transfers. I think it's really good to just take a bit of a breather now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, gives us enough time to get to the next phase, I would call it.
Yep, fair enough. I would agree as well. The international break was, I guess it was good to like refresh and this thing. And now, obviously, I'm on Wildcard. Karan's on Wildcard as well. Rush has avoided Wildcard, which means for those of you who are not Wildcarding, next week to Wildcard is Game Week 13. When the fixtures turn well for the good teams. And if you don't Wildcard, then we don't know. Even Rush might move his team in such a way that he wanted a wildcard then. Then your last time to wildcard is basically to use Game Week 16 as a free hit. That's effectively the only last week you have before World Cup starts, and it's effectively free transfers after that. So those are the last two windows that you have if you wanted to wildcard. But we're going to be talking about wildcard today, and also for those who are not on a wildcard, maybe this might help you to look at players that you would want to target. One thing else I wanted to add, if you are in Australia or Sydney, there is FPL Social upcoming on the 8th, on the 8th, yes, of October. It's going to be held at the Ultra Football store in Sydney, which is in Alexandria. So I'll be part of the panel on that team as well. So looking forward to if anyone wants to join. Make sure to follow FPL Social on Twitter for that, and they have more information if you want there. Now that all of that is said, let's get started. All right. Now, these are the fixtures for Game Week 9, but what I'm going to do is we'll probably go through like stats and players and everything, and occasionally start the fixtures if we need to. So I'll just skip right past this because it's going to be wildcard and everything. Season ticker. Now, right at the bottom is City, Arsenal, Brighton, Liverpool, and Tottenham. Most of these players are in our teams. Now, obviously, the reasons for... I haven't updated the Arsenal and City one game where they're both blanking. But the reasons that these teams are at the bottom is because of tough fixtures at least until Game Week 9 to Game Week 12. And on the top, you got Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Leicester, Everton. Doesn't really fill you with confidence. Thoughts?
I think like there's a potential that everyone who moves on to the non-top 6 teams kind of gets trapped because like players like Salah can score against any team. So I think Rashanti, you're at a huge advantage because your team's good enough to get through not having to wildcard, and then you can sort of get ahead of the curve in Game Week 12 or 13, right?
So you can effectively like dead end your team as well if you wanted in Game Week 12 because of the City Arsenal blanks. So you can get rid of those players if you want to, and then wildcard them back in Game Week 13 as well. That's another possibility as well. Compared to people who are maybe wildcarding now, you probably still have 2 City, maybe 1 Arsenal or 2 Arsenal, depending on the situation. So come Game Week 13, you have to either bench them or maybe transfer them out, one of them, and then bring them back again in... Game Week 12, transfer them out, Game Week 13, bring them back in. So, yeah. Rush is very silent, depending on...
Yeah, I mean, I'm just pondering my team.
Yeah.
Suffering from success.
Yeah. I think, look, the top team, I mean, Bournemouth, I don't really like it, but after that, Palace and Leicester, yes, they've kind of shown signs that, especially Palace, have got some good and attacking abilities, which I'm not swayed away against. So Zaha and a lot of players which probably get into at one point would be good. Leicester is a team of mixed emotions, very attacking. Defense is just, we saw from last game where Son came off the bench and scored a hat trick. It's pretty much non-existent. But yeah, I think what Karan said, like the top 5 teams there is not teams you look to still load up on too much. You still want to have some sort of coverage, especially for specific fixtures. But is your team going to comprise mostly of the players in the top 5 teams? I don't think so.
Fair enough. Now, obviously, these teams are at the bottom. The like top 5, like the top 5, top 6 teams are at the bottom of the season ticker. But even though they're at the bottom of the season ticker, the next slide, the projected clean sheets. Now, these are odds I think these odds are taken from FPL Review. This is anyway from FPL Chase on Twitter. From Game Week 9 to Game Week 16, the projected clean sheet odds for City, Liverpool, Spurs, they're all in the top 4. Crystal Palace also there, interestingly, for clean sheets. So even though City, Liverpool, Spurs are all at the bottom, their projected clean sheet points are right on top, or clean sheet odds, sorry. So yeah, I think obviously you want to probably not have too many of the top teams, but you still want to have some level of the top teams because end of the day, you still back them to do well. Thoughts? Yes, no, agree, disagree?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what I'm thinking. It's just like, it's just about, you can't have too many City players because of the Game Week 12 blank.
Yeah.
And then you probably want 1 Liverpool player. So so if you're wildcarding now, you can't. I guess you can have 3 to 4 players and then transfer 1 out or something. So kind of have your hands tied a little bit. But I definitely have Cancelo, like any wildcard draft.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think this is actually a good indication of which shows your defense is the ones where you're not taking too much risk on. The top teams have proved to have very, very good clean sheets and a lot of defensive assets in those top teams who can provide a lot more than just clean sheets as well. So, you got Reece James in Chelsea, for example, who's still the top 6 team. You could consider to bring in. Palace up there is interesting. They have been very, very good defensively.
Yeah, that's what I also think. Because people are talking about Guaita, but I'm not really convinced by Guaita.
I've got thoughts. Like their defense last year conceded like a really low number of big chances. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but this season they've been much worse. But they've also had the worst fixture run out of every team.
Yeah.
So like I mean, like I think most people are going Pope, right, on the wildcard.
I think so. Pope is still probably the best option on the wildcard. The thing is now, so for anyone who went early on Pope, you obviously caught a few of his price rises when he was 5 million. Now he's 5.2, and you're like, now you're getting to that premium price bracket for a goalkeeper, and now you're thinking, can you save funds elsewhere?
I think if you can do something with the money, then I don't mind going Guaita.
I think the other rationale for going Guaita is that in your wildcard team, you probably bring in Trippier as well.
Yes, so question is whether you want to double up on Newcastle defense or do you want to just go.
But also it's the fact that you've got a Newcastle coverage in a solid defender.
Yeah.
No one in that caliber in Crystal Palace as a defender.
No, there isn't.
Which is why I think you want to hedge your bets. You can go Guaita instead of Pope Trippier or Pope and a Crystal Palace defender. In that combination, I think that's where Guaita probably has a bit more appeal at a cheaper price.
I think good.
Yeah, that's the point. I think is you're not really sure about any specific defenders. Trippier's looking really well. Like I think he's locked in your wildcard drafts. I think he's got to be locked in.
I think so. Yeah.
And then it's just a choice of do you want to double up on Newcastle or do you want to have that third projected clean sheet team here in this list in Guaita from a cheap.
It doesn't have to also, like, I think there are a couple other options as well. So West Ham are doing well. We look at the defensive stats. They are, I think, right now top for the last 6 game weeks defensive stats. So Fabianski could be an option. I have also toyed with the fact of if you go to Everton, who are 4th on that ticker, I've toyed with the fact of a Pickford/Begovic combo as well. As another option, just because of the fact I've now Karan mentioned that Crystal Palace's stats last year were pretty good, and even then they didn't keep clean sheets. Now I went for Guaita last season and went against Ramsdale just because of those numbers, and I still got burnt. So I'm not sure. And there's all this talk about maybe Guaita could get dropped for who is it? Heaton?
Oh yeah. No, it's Johnston.
Oh, Johnston, yes.
Johnston, yeah. So, he's a good keeper. That's the problem.
I'm like, do I really want to toy with this? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there is a chance. I actually think the interesting option C is Kepa, right?
Ooh. So you want to go Mendy Kepa combo?
I don't know if I want to go Mendy Kepa because then like it's just inflexible in terms of Chelsea spots. But I think keep an eye on Kepa, as maybe even because I think there's a strong chance Potter will prefer him to Mendy
because he can play with his feet.
He was injured as well, right? Is Mendy injured?
I don't know.
Mendy is coming off an injury. Yes, yeah. I don't know if he's back.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see with regards to that. So that's clean sheet odds. Goal scoring odds, same thing. We still see the top 6 teams right at the top, even though at the bottom of the season ticker, they're still expected to score the most amount. So don't go way too far from the top teams is what I would say. But you might want to supplement them with like some of these mid-table teams. Having said that, team attack. Now, compared to the odds, this is actually the data. Again, odds going similar. City, Arsenal, Spurs, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Brentford. Now, Arsenal are a team that a lot of people are looking to kind of like move out of. The likes of Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli. Maybe Martinelli you keep because if you owned it for so long, you have a lot of value stored in him. Maybe defense, I would agree, probably moving off. But attack, would you move off double Arsenal or would you just keep one or get rid of both?
I'd definitely move off double Arsenal. But yeah.
Would you go to single Arsenal, one Arsenal player, or just?
I mean, I think it's what you said. I think if you had to keep one, you'd keep Martinelli, since most people had him from the start. However, I don't know. Like I'm tossing up getting rid of Martinelli as well. Even though it's a lot of value to set prior to, it's kind of like, yeah, it's going to be a pain to manage in game week 12 essentially, because if I want to have 2 City players, then I can't get 3 City players, right? Because then I have an extra guy to bench. So, and I can't make a case for keeping Martinelli till game week 12 because it's like Tottenham, Liverpool, Leeds. Leeds is a good fixture, and probably so is Liverpool, but they're not amazing fixtures, right? So, yeah, I think there is a strong case for losing Martinelli or keeping him. Yeah.
Fair enough. Tottenham is a good, like, defensively they're good, but when I watched the game, I was like, you can because Leicester had chances against Tottenham, right? And I was like, I'm sure Arsenal could also get some chances against this lot.
Yeah, you can definitely get something, which is what makes it hard, right?
Yeah. And then Gabriel Jesus. Now I'm wondering whether I should keep Jesus or not, because there isn't, like, we thought there'll be a third striker, but there doesn't seem to be any proper third striker unless you have Tony already. And even Tony, I'm not really sure. There's a lot of talk
What do
about.
you mean? Other
like
than Haaland and Mitra?
Yeah.
I think I disagree. I think
Who are you going, Solanke? Please don't tell me Solanke.
Well, Solanke is there. There's also Isaac, right?
Isaac's injured.
He's injured. He's injured. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, shit, that's right.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not sure.
So I mean, I noted that as well. Like I was watching the Newcastle game. Obviously, he took the penalty.
Yeah.
And stuff as well. Great. I was like I was kind of considering Isaac as well.
Yeah.
For Mitra, and I was like, am I going to miss out on much?
Yeah.
But the thing is, and Callum Wilson's back in game week 9.
But how long will he be fit for?
Risk.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And then also, Isaac's value is there if he's definitely guaranteed on pens.
Yes. Yeah, that's
which I don't know if once Wilson's back, if that's going to be the case.
Probably not.
And Isaac will probably play on the wing when Wilson plays.
Probably. Yes.
So we don't know that's a bit. So I mean, he's not a bad shout. He's not a bad shout with the fixture run at all. It's just.
But his injury, I think, is supposed to keep him out for a couple of weeks, from what I've heard. So that's something to consider. The other thing is, I just saw a picture yesterday of like Mitro in a bandage on his foot. So that's another thing to maybe, to have a thought about. There are a lot of injuries flying about. I was thinking about price changes flying, but there's no price changes. It's all injuries that have been flying about.
I think he just poor guy. He had to score a hat trick.
Exactly.
Just resting up. So.
Jamie Vardy, guys, or Daka.
We don't know who will start, no, right? That's the problem. Yeah. But if we could figure out who will start from those two, that's also a pretty decent option. But yeah, so third striker spot is still.
The fixture run is that good.
It's
actually that good.
Yeah, the third
I
striker.
think Vardy has always been like he always scores a shitload of points. Owns him, and then you bring him in and he blanks. Just blank big time for you.
It's because he scores against the big teams. Because everyone brings him in for the shit team, and then he scores against the big teams.
Yeah. So now they're playing all the lower teams, right? So he's not going to get much.
Well, Vardy's been getting like 15, 20 minutes the last few game weeks, right?
That's not very promising, though.
Well, Daka's, it's only 5.7. Right?
Yeah, I think Leicester's rotation risk is just the issue with Daka, Vardy, Barnes. There's just too many attacking names. No one's nailed apart from probably Madison and
Barnes, probably. Yeah.
Madison and Barnes.
Madison
and Barnes.
Barnes probably is.
But at striker, it's going to be Daka or Vardy, right? Like I don't think Iheanacho. I don't think
you're talking about a third strike option.
Yeah, that's what I'm not sure on the third striker.
I feel like if you're going to go down that path, you might as well just play 2 in the front.
Yeah, that's what I also was thinking. And just play 4 at the back, which is what I was looking at. Because then, I don't know, like we'll have to see. That the third striker for me right now is, I'm still thinking Jesus because he's just like, the Leeds game is very tempting, to be honest. And I don't think the Spurs and Liverpool games are as, like, he could get something, right? Both teams, like Liverpool and Spurs, while they look well in terms of the odds and defensive stats, they're still capable of like conceding a goal. And Arsenal are a pretty good team, like the second on this in terms of attack over the last 6 game weeks.
It's not the worst shout. Sorry,
No, I was gonna say they did create quite a bit against United.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
The thing that I'm most interested in, like I dropped Jesus a while ago, but Arsenal's fixtures really turn like from 11. I know they have a blank in 12, but if you look at 13, they got Southampton. Got 14, you got Norwich. Sorry, no, Nottingham Forest. After the Chelsea game, they got Wolves and West Ham.
Yes.
At home. Their fixtures kind of in 2 weeks or 3 weeks' time after the Liverpool game, it's not bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So you got Leeds, Southampton, Forest, Chelsea, and Wolves. Chelsea is the only tough one, and Chelsea even you don't know what the defense is like at the moment. So that's why I'm like thinking, okay, even if I get rid of Gabriel Jesus, I still want him back in 2 game weeks or something. After 2 game weeks, So it's just that the blank in Game Week 12 is something that you kind of have to worry and navigate about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the same problem as well. I mean, sorry, just before we move on, I got Martinelli as well. And I got him at 6 mil, and he's 6.6 now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
For me, it's like I know I want him. I want some Arsenal coverage from 11 onwards. You know, I'll probably bench him at 12 if whatever happens.
Yeah.
Bring him back again at 6.6 after value. I just don't think that's. I mean, he's such a cheap player for such a top team. His guaranteed minutes
and on set pieces.
So I don't see him. I know there's talks about him, being transferred out, but I don't see him taking out my team anytime soon.
Fair enough. In terms of team defense, West Ham on top last 6 game weeks. Although the run, on the other hand, isn't. It's a very. I don't know. Would you start him? Would you start any place? Wolves, Fulham, good. Southampton, good. First 3 game weeks are pretty good. Game week 12, Liverpool. So, if you wanted a defender to replace a Cancelo or any City defender during this time, like where you can bench, then it's a problem. But the first 3 are good. So, like again, Fabianski as a goalkeeper option could be decent. Tufal maybe, if you wanted a defensive cover. So there are a few, like the run until 13 is good. 14 it's a bit more tricky. 14, 15, 16. But yeah, the first 3 game weeks are good though.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we'll see how Liverpool do. I suppose I expect them to kind of regress towards the mean a little bit.
Yeah,
like they are a really good team. I don't think they're going to be bad forever. So
yeah, and their players are back as well. The injuries that what they had with regards to Thiago.
Is Thiago's back, right?
I think so, yeah. And
I think
also
that changes a lot.
Matip and everyone's back, so should improve their team.
Yeah, so I kind of want Trent. I kind of want Trent, right? Like even with the fixtures and everything. So I'm just trying to find a way to shoehorn him into my wildcard. Is there a case for keeping Salah? Keeping or getting Salah?
Yes, I think that would be. But before that, Rush, what are you going to say?
No, I got Trent in my team as well. I'm thinking about transferring out for James, but I'm going to put that on pause for a second until we talk about it.
Yeah.
I guess so. We talked about West Ham before. I think we're talking about defense, but Bowen is actually a legit option in our team, especially with the fixture run coming up. He took a penalty with Antonio in. He's due a big return. We talked about him being one of the breakout candidates this year after the performance he had last year. So I'm just very surprised he hasn't really done much.
Their attack hasn't been great though. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced on Bowen. Yeah, I mean his XG has been like I'm looking at it over here. His XG has been like 0.2 per 90, whereas last season was closer to it's greater than 0.4.
Yeah. Like going back to the attack.
XA, his XA was like 4 times what it is this year.
The thing is, they're scoring in all the other the conference.
Yes, they scored 3 goals or something in the last game. It was like a 3-2 or something.
A crap load in those games.
Oh, yeah?
But
really?
But like in the Prem, they're like defensive. They're more defensive this season compared to last season. Like that's the only issue I'm having. Like they're bottom 6 right now for team attack over the last 6 game weeks, but they're top for defense. So I don't know if that. It seems like there's a shift in approach from David Moyes.
I mean, who have they played? Right, they played
a few tough teams though. West Ham,
City, Brighton, Tottenham. They played big teams.
Would you say they're going to be naturally defensive when they play those top teams though?
Yeah, Moyes is a pragmatic manager.
The question is, will they improve significantly enough?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think West Ham attack wants to watch.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a bit more positivity because they were scoring fun. They're scoring 3 goals each in the conference games.
Yeah.
I have a feeling just the way they play, they just want to play as safe as possible against those top teams. In saying that they lost to Everton last week.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So they've played, right? They've played Chelsea, Tottenham, City, Brighton.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. But then the 1-0 loss to Everton doesn't really help as well at the same time.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
Especially when you look at it, right? If you look at midfield options, I would say Zaha and Maddison are probably 2 very must owns, right? probably even, especially on a wild card. Given the fixtures as well, if you look at the fixtures that those two teams have, and then you potentially have a premium option there. Could be a Salah, could be a KDB, could be a Heung-min Son. Then your fourth option would be you'll have a fifth midfielder of Andreas maybe. It's a fifth midfielder. Then you have one more spot.
Yeah.
Your one more spot. Are you going to put it on Martinelli or are you going to put it on Bowen? That's where.
That's why I just can't find room for Bowen.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think I'd rather it's someone to watch for me.
Yeah.
Not.
Agree. I mean,
and then if one of Zaha or Madison don't look very good,
then you swap.
Bowen can be.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I'm thinking about it. I don't know if I want to start with Bowen.
Yeah, fair enough.
In defense, is Zuma the most nailed?
Probably, yes. Yeah. There's also Sufal. I checked his minutes. It seemed to be good. Emerson, I wouldn't go. His minutes are just up and down. We don't know what it's going to do. But Zuma is the more nailed one at the moment. And set piece also, you could potentially have a threat from there.
4.5. So.
Yeah. Having said that, moving on to the toughest topic right now in terms of no straightforward answer, goalkeepers. Now, I've taken the goalkeepers, highlighted them by XG prevented stat, and I've also highlighted like any ones who are in the top 3 for each of the categories. And obviously, Alisson right on top. Interestingly, De Gea second, XG prevented. But something interesting is Pope. Look at that baseline BPS, 100. This is why the man gets so much bonus. Rea is second and Leno third. But the people we're talking about, right? Guaita, where's Guaita? This is last 6 game week. Guaita is only 57 for baseline bonus. But Pickford 74. Now, I don't know when Pickford is going to be back, but I don't mind. Again, I don't mind a Pickford / Begovic combo as well, because Begovic in one game, 18 for one game is not too bad, I would say. Now, thoughts, goalkeepers, are there any other options apart from just Guaita or any other 4.5s that are interested?
Raya's kind of interesting, right? Like what's
the fixtures like? Brentford's fixtures are Bournemouth, Newcastle, Brighton. Oh, it's a tough run though.
It's okay. I mean, like we don't know how good Brighton's going to be now, right?
We don't know, but you got Chelsea and City as well. Oh yeah, but Newcastle. It's not too bad.
It's okay. It's like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah. Ward and Iverson combo. If you want to be that desperate, anyone?
Never again.
Never again.
But even Ryan, I think your comment about Pickford, Begovic.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people will be swayed away from that just because of the fact that they've already done the double, similar team rotation and it hasn't worked.
True, but then that's Leicester, and
I
know. I get where you're coming at.
Yeah, but also I don't think Pickford's really good.
Yeah, I also don't think he's that really good. I think he'll make saves though. That's the thing. I'm thinking.
Begovic's really old.
I think he's probably a decent FPL option, right? Because Pickford does make a lot of spectacular saves.
Pickford is good.
Begovic, I'm kind of conditioned to not think of Frank Lampard as a good defensive manager.
Fair enough.
Which is like
fair enough. The other two options are Fabianski, right? I was thinking of. Now, obviously, Kepa also could be an option, but we don't know whether he'll start or not. That's the only problem I'm having.
Yeah.
And maybe Jose Sa. Wolves.
I haven't even looked.
West Ham, Chelsea. Okay, tough start. But after that, you have Forest, Crystal Palace, Leicester, Brentford, Brighton, and then Arsenal the last game. Again, not a bad set of fixtures, I would say.
Palace away is a bad game. Leicester at home is probably a bad game. Right? Because we know they can attack. Yeah, we know they can attack, right?
Yeah.
Like, Leicester have scored against everyone. They're just Swiss cheese at the back.
I'm really scared to play Wolves defenders.
Same. Because I think the Palace game, the Leicester game, and the Brentford game, maybe even the Brighton game are not really good games.
So this all just points back to like Guaita as a decent option.
Well, I think I literally think it's Guaita or Pope. It's just do you need the money or not? It's just do you need the money? That's how.
Exactly, but like I just don't trust Guaita as a. I'm trying to see if you guys would convince me out of him.
No, I think I would. I don't mind starting with Guaita. Your point about the baseline is really big though.
Yeah, that's what for a keeper.
Guaita's baselines are not impressive. Raya's is for a 4.5.
Yeah. And quite like too many big chances considered from Crystal Palace this season. Even though I know they played tough opposition, I don't know. It's probably me just being burnt last season and not wanting to go back again.
They've had the toughest fixture run.
Yeah.
By a fair distance, I would say.
So I don't know. Depends on your risk appetite. If you want to also play with the fact that he might potentially not, or he might potentially get dropped as well, and then you're stuck with maybe Guaita and Iverson in your keeper, and then you like got to make a keeper change as well. So I don't know. This is something to consider and see how it goes. I might go somewhere else. I don't know. We'll see.
Mendy, how much is Mendy Kepa? It's
4.9
and 4.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like as a combo. If you wanted to go 4.9 and 4.3, I think.
4.4.
Yeah,
but are you gonna burn 2 Chelsea assets in your keepers?
That's the only problem. Because you probably want like a Chilwell or a midfield or a striker.
Don't know under Potter how they might play. They might bring in Sterling at some point. You never know.
Exactly, that's the thing. So that's another issue.
Maybe.
Okay, so that's.
I mean, look, goalkeepers. I mean, like goalkeepers. Like, look, there's plenty of options. I don't like. I think the obvious ones right in front of your eyes are probably Pope and Guaita.
Yep.
It's really depending on how you want to play. Do you not trust Guaita? Fine, okay. Then if you don't have enough money for Pope, try someone else. You know, there's Fabianski at 5, and then you can probably just even the 2 4.5 rotation is not a bad option if you really wanna just work some fixtures around. You can just alternate.
Yeah, I think too. Like I rarely rotate keepers.
Yeah, that's the thing. Same.
Because I just like to squeeze all the money out of the keepers. Because I don't know if someone comes up with a good rotation, I wouldn't mind that. Like Rich said.
I know, but like I haven't seen anything that's like.
No.
Nothing is like an obvious rotation.
Yeah, exactly. I just play one keeper and just use the money elsewhere.
I think, I mean, it's that is right. If you're not going to go for Pope at 5.2, you have that funds to spend elsewhere. And that's when you sort of...
Yeah, that's the thing.
But
okay, so just for example, in my wildcard draft, right, going Guaita over Pope is the difference for me being able to get Trent.
Yes, that's the same for me, probably.
Yeah, so then I'm like, that's probably worth it.
Yeah, exactly. When you put it like that, it's probably worth it, definitely.
Yeah. But if it doesn't really upgrade much, then I would keep up.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, we'll have to. This discussion will probably keep going until we end up in someone starting. We'll see. Anyways, moving on from goalkeepers, defenders. Now Trent. Trent a bit before we go defenders. Trippier locked in.
Yep.
Yes, probably.
Yep. Move on.
Cancelo or any City defender locked in.
Yeah. I think so.
Cancelo was like
yes and no. I have him on my team. I'm probably not going to drop him, but I can see a case of dropping him in now. And if he got a wild card like me,
yes, I'm playing him again. Yeah,
there's
a case for that. Yes. There's a case for that as well.
Yeah, there's a case for that for sure. Yeah,
I'd agree.
I'm thinking of the context of wildcard now.
Yeah, I was also thinking of if I have wildcard in him, wildcard now, play him for these 2 game weeks, and then drop him in 11 when he plays Liverpool.
Yeah, but you don't want to waste the transfer just to drop him.
Yeah, but like 11 and 12, he's not there, and then it depends again. Depends on like how my team sets up. I have no idea how the team will set up. The other option is like I can drop him 11, 12, and then Reece James to Cancelo in 13 or something like that. I don't know, but it depends on how. Like in 2 game weeks, something else could happen, and we'll be forced to do something else. So we never know what will happen.
I don't like booking in transfers.
Yeah, I also don't. I generally don't like booking in transfers, but I think there's a possibility for a few situations to like try and book in transfers. We'll talk about when it comes to midfielders as well. There's I think a possibility. Okay, so Trippier is your basically locked one. Then you potentially have a Cancelo as a maybe. Trent could also maybe. I
think Cancelo is like 90 is locked if you're on wildcard.
Yeah. Okay.
Or enough. Like 90% locked if you're on wildcard. Yeah.
And if you're not, he's a maybe.
If you're not, it's like a 50-50.
Yeah. Trent, I think is a differential player for anyone who's on a wildcard right now. If you wanted to own him,
I mean, he can get returns against everyone. Yeah, and he has been dropped from England's World Cup squad.
But that was a friendly. We don't know whether they'll play, but yeah.
I think he's there, but I think Reece James is the preferred, right?
Yeah. For the back 4 especially, back 4 Reece James.
I thought I read that he was.
That was the.
I think he's in the squad.
Yeah, he was in the squad for Germany, the friendly game. I don't think
okay.
it'll be dropped from the World Cup squad. That hasn't been announced yet, though.
Oh no, sorry. I misremembered. Southgate said that Trippier is ahead in the pecking order. That's
Okay.
what he said in the press conference.
Interesting.
Kind
Like
of
his
make-
exact words were, "Trippier is now ahead in the pecking order."
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And then like and then James is first, right?
Yeah.
So Trent is like number 3.
Makes sense.
So you reckon
kind
he'll
of.
be really angry and wants to like focus on Liverpool?
No, I don't try to read into that shit. I just think it's like he's not going to get minutes, so he's gonna, he can give his all in the club games.
Fair enough. Then we've got okay, so Trent may be a case for it. Who would you Reece James locked?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah,
Rush, do you have
like
a shot?
90% locked. Yeah.
Yeah, wildcard teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely a player. As well. The thing is, I'm just very interested in seeing. I mean, we haven't seen this Chelsea yet,
Yeah,
right?
we haven't really properly known what they're gonna do about it.
Yeah. I mean, are they going to go back 5? Are they going to go back 4?
Yeah.
Brighton plays back 4, don't they?
Brighton back 5.
Back 5,
Like
right,
Trossard was
sorry.
playing wing back.
Gotcha.
Last season, Brighton played a lot of back 4, sometimes back 5.
Yeah.
This season, he's played exclusively back 5.
That's right. That's why I trust.
It's like he was auditioning for the Chelsea job.
Yeah, and Trossard is the Sterling in Chelsea, basically. Or whichever way you flip it.
The thing for me is, in your wildcard team, I think is no question. I mean, at 6 mil, you're not going to get any better value at 6 mil.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and you want some Chelsea coverage. My immediate concern, of not having him right now, is that they played Palace in game week 9. So if it's looking at immediate game week, I don't think, and they're playing Palace away. Is that the dream fixture? I want to get rushing to get him in.
No, not really, not necessarily.
I don't think it's bad though.
No.
It's not a bad one. It's more like,
if you're not wildcarding, then you don't need to rush into it. If you're wildcarding, I think I would still have him.
Yeah.
So here's what I think will happen. I think Cucurella will play left centre back rather than left wing back.
Yeah.
So then which means I think Reece James won't play right centre back.
Yeah, which is good for him.
So I think he just always plays right wing back in Potter's system. I don't know. I suppose there's a risk that Potter goes to back 4, but I find that highly unlikely.
Yeah.
When like Chelsea they have a thin midfield.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like when you go to a back 4, it's like now I just think that you have less.
Yeah.
There's more pressure on the midfield to do something.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they got Fofana.
It makes a lot of sense.
So
Fofana, Koulibaly, and then Silva is old. He needs rotation anyway. So it makes sense for me to have Cucurella in the back left of the back 3.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I think so. He played at the start. When he was at Brighton, he played Trossard as the wing back quite a lot. Who basically, it was a very lopsided formation where Trossard basically had no defensive responsibility, and he just slipped into the box. So I think there's a chance he could maybe play like Sterling at left wing
I think
back.
the Champions League game, that's what he did. He had Sterling in that role.
Yeah.
Now it's yet to be seen whether Chilwell, once he gets whether he's fit and properly playing, when he's properly fit, whether he'll get minutes or not. Because I think he's a really good player as well. So then that raises the issue whether
I think Chilwell's a really good like forward from that position.
Yeah.
So he like goes into the box and he's got a great shot on him. So and I think Sterling could be required up front, right? Because I think like Chelsea are fairly thin up front. So like a Sterling, Havertz up front, and like a Chilwell, So I think either way, I think Reece James will play wide. So
fair enough. So so I probably agree with that. So we'll have Trippier, you'll have you'll have a potential James, and you're potentially talking about Cancelo or Trent. Any other defenders are we talking about? Cheaper defenders, maybe?
Can we go back to the fixture run?
Yes, we can. Here we go.
Leicester defenders, guys? I'm joking.
No. So Everton,
Patterson's injured, isn't he?
Patterson's injured, exactly. He would have been a decent option.
I don't trust Villa.
Look at him, he's injured.
Yeah.
You've got again West Ham. West Ham is your probably other option. If you're not going Fabian's keeper, then maybe Zuma if you wanted a 4.5 defender.
Nothing stands out. I don't know if I want Zuma for 4.5.
And after that, I guess you're looking at maybe Spurs. Like if you go to the clean sheet odds, Spurs are like 14th at least. Perisic, I don't really know, but then maybe someone else could be a decent option from Spurs.
I feel like Spurs is one team we're not talking about defensively, and
it's hard to predict. That's the problem.
From Perisic.
Yeah.
And that was one I actually missed it because if you go back to your goalkeeper one, I saw Lloris there and he had
5.5 though.
Highlighted bonus points and clean sheets too. So
yeah,
I mean,
so much money.
That's the concern, I guess. But yeah, I mean, just coming back to Spurs defense, the problem has been, it always will be, who's going to start.
Yep, that's
in back positions.
Unless you go for like a Eric Dyer, who will play and everything.
5.1.
Yeah, that's the thing. So Perisic is someone you want, or Doherty, if Doherty can get fit. 4.6 right now could be a really good option if you know he's going to play. That's the only problem.
He's played 1 minute this whole season.
I think it's like he's fallen out of favor with Conte. I don't know what's happening there, but yeah.
Well, he started off injured and then it doesn't. I think Emerson Royale's been good, which is.
But he's not Doherty level. But I don't know. Anyways, yeah.
But he keeps that side quite solid, and then the other side can just Son and Perisic can just play both as like strikers pretty much. So.
We'll have to see what happens because Perisic did play right wing back the last game. Now I don't know whether Conte is going to try that again. Because that I think is a very interesting thing for Son as well. As a Son, if anyone wants to own Son, because I think that's better for Son that Perisic is not on the same side.
Do you think that was eating into Son's like?
I have a feeling that when Perisic plays and Son plays at the same time, now that hat trick came without Perisic on the pitch. So I have a feeling because whenever I watch them both playing, they both occupy the same space, and it's really annoying because it takes away from Son.
Play on the right when he scored that hat trick. I feel like
he was more central. Yeah, that's what. So he was more central. Yeah. Right. But again, when they're both starting, is something we'll have to see.
So who can play left wing back then? Or Sessegnon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's again issue.
But do you think now that obviously Son was going into a bit of a
upward trajectory? Yeah.
Now he'll be back. Surely he can't come to the bench again, right? He's going to be back.
That's a good segue into the midfielders now. Heung-min Son, okay. Now this is a bit of a hokey cokey that I'm thinking about. Now there is a case to start with Salah on the wildcard, right? And then transfer Salah out for Son, and then transfer Salah back in after that. So you do game week 9 maybe Salah, game week 10, 11 you could play Son because Everton and who's the other one? Brighton, exactly. Could be two easy options, right? And then in game week 12, Spurs play United, Liverpool play West Ham. Yeah, and City are obviously blanking, so you need a captain somewhere. So you could probably bring Salah back in for that, and then keep him until the end of the season. That's a possibility for anyone who wants to try and attempt that. Now the question is, if Salah scores and hauls, are you really going to do that? That's a different story. Maybe you delayed by a week and you probably do it in like game week. You played for a week or something. I don't know. But there is a possibility of doing that hokey cokey. The only thing is, I don't think you can. Premium is a bit more harder to achieve.
So I think that is like the issue with that, in my eyes, is that the opportunity cost is just owning De Bruyne for the whole time.
Yes, but then there's the blank, and there's also Liverpool in game week.
Yeah,
that's the same thing.
So
with
it's owning De Bruyne with the plan of like keeping him as one of your bench spots in 12.
Yes,
and that's probably, whereas the other one, Son to Salah back to Son, is like 2 transfers as well.
No. Oh yeah, it's 2 transfers. Yeah, Salah does. Oh well, it's technically 1. Two transfers because your wildcard. Yeah. But let's say
the thing I don't like about that is because like you're really banking on Salah to haul, and this is a player yes, he's been good, but he's not the same as he was
last hat trick in the international break.
I know, but he's not the same.
Can you clip that? Can you clip him saying that?
He's not the same.
Don't worry, I won't be the podcast next week.
Goals, I want to
I'll come back and clip this when he scores. Yeah, when he scores a hat trick on the weekend and he gets that differential haul.
And then
Salah will
and then
blank this week.
Rashad, I'm not sure about Salah as FPL.
Salah will blank this game week against Brighton.
Oh my.
Lallana's Brighton.
Oh my god. But no, not that. They found their new coach, Brighton.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Robert.
yeah.
What
Salah.
have you guys heard about De Zerbi?
He's a possession manager at all cost.
I've heard he's very attacking.
Yes.
Pretty excited.
He will invite pressure and play around it, which doesn't bode well for when you're trying to play against Liverpool on your first game.
Okay. So he's a counter-attacking coach? Like
No. He's a possession manager.
Oh, okay.
He's like your Pep and who else would you call in that position? Maybe Pep mostly.
Oh, so he's a counter-pressing possession type.
Yeah, type of. Yeah,
because he'll keep the ball and invite the press and then play around.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So it's kind of like a Liverpool.
Kinda, but like Liverpool can counter-attack as well when needed to. But this guy likes to hold the ball.
Liverpool has Salah and Brighton have Welbeck. It's like
Trossard, man. Trossard is a good player.
But yeah, I think this is the best time to own Salah if you wanted to, because he's a huge differential. You wouldn't find him at a differential before. So if anyone like the non-wildcarders won't have Salah unless they do the transfer. Now Rushant has Son, and I don't know what you're gonna do. I think you could hold Son. There's a case to be.
I mean, I don't think taking Son out is my priority transfer right now. If I was wildcarding, I'd probably think otherwise. But interesting. I mean, I understand your logic behind that, especially with Salah, if his ownership, and this game week you're not going to find him in non-wild.
He could, like, the Liverpool players could be the differential, at least for those who are wildcarding in this period compared to up to game week 13, right? Because now if you don't wildcard Salah in this game week, then you're probably not going to wildcard Salah. Like, you're not going to get Salah until game week 13.
Yep.
So there's no point in, like, if you don't get him now, you don't get him until game week 13 because the rest of the fixtures aren't the easiest.
So what we're talking about is Brighton, Arsenal, City, and West Ham.
Yes.
So that's the
9 to 12
difference, right?
Yeah.
Versus KDB for 3 games and
Son for
and a blank.
Yeah, and then potentially Son if you wanted to hold for 4 games all. It's like Arsenal, then 2 easy games, and then United.
Yeah. So if you look in isolation, then I guess Son has the best fixtures.
Yes, probably. Yeah.
Arsenal, Brighton, Everton, United. That's not amazing either.
It doesn't stand out, but like if you're looking at immediate impact in game week 9, Salah has higher potential. Now again,
yeah, but I mean, I guess I just trust like City, right? Like
as a team,
it's
fair
just
enough.
like the best team in the league, right?
Yeah.
So, and United definitely can concede a lot of chances.
Cool.
So Southampton can concede 9 goals.
This is Ten Hag.
The Southampton game is the one I'm concerned about. De Bruyne.
Yes, that's the thing.
I don't think all those game fixtures we talked about, City versus Southampton is the juiciest.
Yes. So you could
9 fixtures.
You could also do, again, this is also another possibility for anyone who wants to risk it. You could go Salah, KDB, Son, and back to Salah. The thing is,
and then like the rest of your team just like sit there.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to hope the rest of your team. But
you have a million fires to fix.
We'll deal with that when it comes. But like the thing is, right? Compared to previous seasons where you wildcard now and then you have to take your team until like game week 30 or something, this season it's only 8. Yeah. It's like 8 weeks you have to worry about. It's very short. Yeah. So you have the risk appetite that you can take should be higher, technically speaking.
Yeah. I mean, I guess your logic is okay in the sense that, look, it'll be a week by week assessment, right?
Yes, exactly.
For it doesn't mean, you might.
Yeah, exactly. Like if Salah holds, I'm not going to take him off.
You're not going to take him off.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's the thing.
So, I think the plan is good. You just in your wildcard team, especially because you're wildcarding with your team kind of looking forward for the next at least 4 game weeks, 5 game weeks. So you'd hope that even your bench options are covered so you can play with that transfer.
Yeah.
I'm just a bit scared doing that.
Yeah,
but
fair enough. Agreed.
It's a good option though. I mean,
we'll have to see how it goes. Yeah.
It's a dream option. I feel like if it works out well, you could just literally your rank would be like.
Yeah, you could boost up really high if it works out well.
Oh, really high or really low?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing.
Okay, so that's the premiums. Anyone else in terms of the other players? Madison, Zaha, I guess if you wildcard, you probably own. If you don't wildcard, you can hold on Zaha, I think. Maybe Madison's more of a priority if you don't have wildcard. If you can't afford Madison like Rush at the moment, then I guess you have to go for Harvey Barnes because those Leicester fixtures are still pretty good.
Yeah, I think I want to have at least one of the Leicester attackers, just for some coverage. And the fixtures have been crap for the first 8 game weeks, and they've still been scoring. The team hasn't changed significantly. Brendan Rodgers needs to keep his job. A lot of things up in the air, but I think just for some coverage, you want to go with either Madison. Can afford Madison in your wildcard, definitely go for Madison. But if you can't, like me, then Barnes is 0.9 or $1 million. So.
Yeah, and the only difference we checked between the two was Madison had more chances created and Barnes had more shots in the box. Yeah, shots in the box.
Yeah.
So
XG wise, they're very similar.
Yes,
but then Madison is way ahead on XA.
Yeah, the chances.
Madison's he's pretty much carrying Leicester on the back. Really, it's just been.
I see him. I see him as the linchpin of the attack.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
that's your midfield. Anyone else in midfield that you think could be differential?
I can't wait to bring in United players.
Yes, I'm also wondering, but like this, the run isn't that convincing enough. Like I guess
now.
It's probably.
I think the run is incredible. Yeah.
I'm just.
I can't see like it's like hard is easy, hard, easy. So I'm like, there's no proper time to bring them in. Maybe defense-wise, I don't mind from like 14, 15, 16, but yeah, tough.
Didn't Dallas score 2 goals as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was contemplating putting him as like my 4th defender, but then we'll see. It all depends on price and everything. But we'll see. Ten Hag's United team, you never know. They could win against City.
I trust United. I'm excited to own United assets again.
Yeah.
It's been about
guys
1.5 seasons.
We're up here. Let's bring it down.
Fair enough.
Anthony is the greatest wing.
Fair enough. Okay, so that's your midfield. Moving on, finally, forwards. Haaland, yes. Mitrovic, yes. Now, third striker spot.
Is Mitrovic a no-brainer?
At the moment, yes, I would say. Because of the fact that the next 2 weeks. Okay, here's the thing. If you're not wildcarding, and if you don't own Mitrovic, you don't have to bring him for the next 2 weeks. Because of the fixtures. If I go back.
Because of West Ham.
Yeah, exactly. So it's 2 tough fixtures. But after that, the fixtures are good. Now, he's already shown that he's capable of doing it in the big games as well. So he's kind of big. Like, you can trust him in those games. Obviously, they scored 3 and he unfortunately wasn't on the end of any of it. But it is what it is. But I still think he's right now probably your second best striker option in terms of consistency. And he's right up there in terms of stats as well.
Yeah. I think, obviously Haaland is a lock.
Yes.
The other option, and this is again coming back to why we don't own Kane, is that flexibility around that midfield position. As you said, you want to have that, at least that Son, Salah, De Bruyne position to keep rotating around, and you doubling up on 2 expensive strikers with Haaland and Kane is just not going to let you do that. So yeah, I think that when you come look at it, after you have Haaland is your second striker better than Mitrovic and his fixtures, that's when you start looking into your Tony and Isaac and all those other options, and I think that's where I think Mitrovic stands out.
And then your third striker is question mark. I've seen a lot of talk about Solanke on Twitter. I'm like, no. Bournemouth are pretty bad. Like, I understand the price tag and everything, and he has played very small minutes, but like, it's just that Bournemouth are like one of the bottom teams for like attack and everything, and I just don't see them doing much. It's like a Dennis trap from last season.
Speaking of Dennis, what about Dennis?
We're not talking about him again. No. But yeah, anything else? Third strikers? No. Yes. Is that a case for Solanke actually? But I don't know. Maybe there might be. I don't know. Like, if you look at expected points, review and everything, Go ahead.
Yeah, what did you say? If you look at
The
review?
expected points and FPL review, it suggests Solanke as part of a wildcard draft.
Yeah, I mean, so does FFX.
Yeah.
The FFX points as well. I think there is an argument for having him as a third striker, right? It's
Probably from budget reasons.
Is 5.7 too much to bench?
I don't know. It depends on what game weeks you're gonna play him in.
Like, can you have like I don't know.
At that rate, I'm like, you might as well just go for like a 4.3 Greenwood.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking out the other options. Yeah.
You probably had to play it team by team and see like every week when you would start him, when you won't start him, and all of that.
Yeah. If you can find some sort of decent rotation with some
Yeah.
other benchable midfielder or defender, and
Then,
yeah, but it might be overthinking it a little bit.
Yeah. Fair enough.
There's one player right on this list we haven't talked about. And I talked about him before the season started. I will talk about him again.
Watkins?
Only Nunes.
Oh, Darwin Nunes.
Oh yeah.
He
Back
could
from
be
his red card.
true. And there's another player I should probably mention. But is he a midfielder or this is forward?
Jota?
Jota, yes, exactly.
Yeah, he's a forward.
Yes. So there is that as well. So now both of those players could be capable of doing something and could warrant for a third striker spot. Now that's something else we haven't considered.
Too many options, right, for one striker spot in their
That's the
system.
thing. Yeah.
For me to start with any of them.
Yeah. So I probably
think
keep your options open for that third.
There's
I mean,
literally 3 top tier options.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, I mean, this is in the contention that if you want to play just a top front and you're going with a striker just as a cheap option.
Yeah.
There could be a time where if Liverpool once their fixtures turn, they might be back to their best.
Yeah, they would probably. Yeah. That's where your game week wildcard is strong.
Yeah, which is why I'm hoping Liverpool gives me a triple Liverpool in 13.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just some players to watch out for, I guess.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, so that's forwards. Watch list. I kind of changed it based on expected points and everything. I think this is most of the players we spoke about anyways. Bamford is another one we didn't really touch about, but Leeds do have decent fixtures. I should mention that as well. Watkins I've added as well because I think the first 3 fixtures are pretty decent from an attacking point of view.
Darker on there.
Oh yes, we should add Daka on this as well. So when I can't edit it now, but yeah.
Because Darker's in that sweet spot
points,
where he's.
yeah.
I don't know if I want to start with him, but he
Yeah.
could just become an amazing option.
Yeah, true. He could be actually better than Solanke to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah.
One player
Solanke
here,
is probably safer to start with.
Yeah,
but
but
Darker
Daka-
probably is higher upside.
Yeah.
you know?
Go ahead, Rish.
I like Watkins a lot. I think for the next couple of fixtures with Leeds and Nottingham Forest, even the next 4 out of the next 5 fixtures are really good.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting something from Watkins. Only player there I'm a bit concerned about is Diaz with Jota's return actually. His position was nailed up on the left with Jota being out.
Yeah.
Now with Jota back, is there any risk to his minutes?
Yep.
Probably. Is he still going to start? He might get 60 minutes or so. Don't know. But yeah, that'll be the one player I'm a bit sort of iffy on. But the rest I think are pretty good options.
Fair enough.
It's kind of tough to fit another mid-priced. Sorry, I'm still thinking about wildcard. My bad. But in the wildcard template, it's kind of tough to fit another mid-price midfielder in.
Yeah, true. Agreed.
Unless you don't go a premium defender.
Yep.
But yeah.
Fair enough. Talking about wildcard, this was the wildcard team that came up when I tried on FPL review based on my budget. This is what they recommended. Guaita Ward in goalkeep. You got James Anderson, Trent, Romero, and Justin. So in terms of Spurs defense, they've gone for Romero, but I don't know. I think you could probably find someone else better. Don't take this as the gospel in terms of a wildcard template. I always look at this as a guide, but then you look at it and you start to question, maybe you could try better elsewhere. But midfield seems to be pretty kind of solid. You got your Zaha, you got your Madison, you got your Salah. Bay, I think you could put Andreas instead as a 5th choice. Bowen is there that we mentioned earlier. Then you got your Haaland, Mitrovic, and then it has Solanke here. But you could have Daka as well as an option if you wanted to. So yeah, this is just a template. And also Justin, you mentioned Leicester defense. Maybe Justin, I don't know, but that's just another couple options to throw in there.
Yeah, I like Bailey, and just because in your wildcard team, I think he's a really good option for your midfield. 4.4, and Justin's cheap as well, which is why I think you're not going to probably start him every game, but he's there for some of those fixtures. Honestly, I feel like I would love to have Watkins. That's the one player I regret.
Yeah, same.
I feel like in the state of the league where you've got so many top performing forwards, I could actually see instead of a Tony, you can go Watkins.
Yeah, I've also been considering Watkins a bit, just to see how it goes, and then after 2 game weeks, because first 2 game weeks are pretty good. Leeds and Forest are actually really good game weeks to play against.
Yeah,
and then decide after that.
He plays 90 minutes every
pretty much every game.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I just don't really rate Gerrard, guys. Like, that's my reluctance.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think he's kind of
purely on a player and their fixtures perspective. I think Watkins has the next 5 fixtures is probably better than Tony's fixtures.
Yeah, probably so.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But I think Brentford are like 10 times the team.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Having said that, these were the teams. Rush, 71 points. Jeez.
Wow.
It's not
4.
Sun. It's
Son, yeah.
-4. Forget about
it's Saliba. Yeah,
Saliba.
Yeah.
Bro.
Nice one.
I lost my head-to-head.
Saliba is such a good pick.
I lost my head-to-head to a guy who doesn't even play FPL anymore. Just because he had Sun and Saliba.
Yeah.
That's the case. But yeah, Sun
he was
and
pretty
Saliba,
happy about it at work as well.
Ooh, he was happy.
Jason, he's like, did I? What?
Oh, this is your work league.
Yeah, fair enough. So really good return, takes you into the top 100k. So you're looking to stay in there. You got Zaha as well. I can see why you don't want to wildcard this, because you have Zaha, you have Trent. Obviously, Pascal Gross is something you probably need to consider again because of the Brighton's fixtures. But the rest is like solid. You don't have any injury issues as well. Like people who went for Isak have injury issues there. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, this team is pretty much most of the wildcard draft we talked about, probably missing the likes of a James or a Maddison. Really missing James and Maddison. And my gross to Maddison is where I'm short point.
Okay.
So my other option was to do Trent to James and upgrade gross to Maddison, but I don't see the worth in the -4.
Yeah.
Especially because Chelsea's playing Crystal Palace. That's why I think I might hold off on that, and I might do a gross to Barnes. Maybe I don't know. That's my only sort of
fair enough. Yeah, not too bad. And then this was mine 55. Not too bad. Switched on Sun to KDB at the last minute, but I guess didn't make too much of a difference. Ward though. At one point,
That's
I thought it was. It is a haul. The fact that he didn't go negative is a haul. Oh my god! But yeah.
But you know what? That was my -4 was Ward to Pope.
Yeah, I know.
Realistically, I mean, it was a -2.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't know how to trust in Ward. I didn't want to start Ward. I just didn't.
Fair enough. I mean, you went earlier as well, ahead of the curve and everything, so it's fine. You have Pope already.
Yeah.
But yeah, now this is wildcard. Lot will change, so we'll see what happens in game week 9. And then this is current. You've got a very similar team, but look at Dean.
Look at Dean, man. I held on to him for like 8 game weeks to get that 7-pointer.
You can't drop him now, can you?
Can't drop him now.
Fair enough. But you're also wildcarding. So that will also change. I wanted to ask one final thing. Captaincy this week. Is it actually Haaland? Or is that a case to be made for a Maddison, a Salah? Can Ten Hag actually keep Haaland out?
I think realistically it's just Haaland, but I'm toying with Maddison. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I do realistically just think it's Haaland.
I'm toying with Salah as well. I'm just like, I have a bit more faith in Ten Hag. But I could. This kind of feels like the same situation where last season, game week 9, United were the team. People had Salah captaincy and Havertz captaincy.
Yeah.
And Salah was the highly
that was
owned.
very different United.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying it could be slightly different this time, but we'll see.
But like this different. It's different because the City team I just think are incredible.
Yeah, true. But then,
And Haaland will probably play more minutes against United than
Yeah.
against another team. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think Haaland will play the full game, but
Yeah.
just
That's right.
hoping for Lisandro Martinez masterclass.
Repeat
He's
performance.
literally. I'm not one of those guys that say that he's too short for the Premier League or
He's
anything,
literally half his height.
but he's literally half his size. Yeah. It's like,
I mean, at the moment, and again, this is because of sentimental reasons. Captaining Tony is another option for me against Bournemouth.
Ooh. Yeah,
I don't mind that.
Fair shot.
If you have it, yeah.
Yeah,
It worked out last time you did it.
It worked out last time.
Came with a hat trick.
Yeah, I mean, he's got called up the England squad. He's feeling good. He's feeling confident. You know,
Could work. So that's another option. Yeah, fair enough. Having said that, one final team we need to look at is the panel team, because we wildcarded last season. I mean, not last season. We wildcarded last week, and I guess it went decent, not great, I would say. So panel team. This was a panel team. Got 55 points, to be honest. I think we initially had Sun in here, and then we got the news that Sun wasn't playing. And then what I did was I bought in Kane instead of that and bought in Madison. So I guess it kind of worked out, but unfortunately I benched Begovic in favor of Pope. So it is what it is. In terms of this week,
can't have that.
This is how the team would potentially be looking like. I don't even know what you'll do here. Here we go.
This panel team is like a wildcard team.
I know, right? It's doing pretty decently.
Yeah.
I like the back four.
Yeah, I think the back four looks pretty decent. What would you do?
Kane, Haaland, Mitra. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually good.
Yeah, this is a fucking good wildcard team.
Yeah. It's an interesting team which has Kane and Haaland and Mitrovic.
I would do exactly that.
Just keep it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Gordon over Andreas, Andreas over Nico.
Yeah. Oh, Andreas over Nico. Yeah, I mean, in terms of bench. Yeah.
Yeah. I would do exactly this.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of captaincy, since this is our punty team, maybe we could captain Madison. That's the only thing I would say.
Yeah. I don't mind that.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Forest at home. Like Leicester will do. Like
so. This team hasn't had a wildcard as well, right?
This was the wildcard last week.
Oh, it's wildcard last week.
Yeah. Because Roy looked at it and was like, Roy looked at it and was like, nah, this has to change. I'm like, okay, let's wildcard.
I like this team. I think Bowen, everyone's
sleeping on him.
Okay, yeah. I have a feeling.
Yeah. But if we have him on the panel team, at least we can be like,
we talked about it. We put up. Yeah, we backed it.
This is what's gonna happen. The game's gonna start. Ryan's gonna send Rush, Nunes, Patrick, Alan.
Fair enough. So that's the panel team, and then finally, the thing that we want as wildcarders but never happens is price changes, and it seems like price changes aren't happening. I look at it every day in the morning, and there's nothing really happening. So I continue to expect nothing really to happen. So Madison and Haaland.
Doesn't the game discount wildcard?
It does.
Yeah, and everyone's on wildcard. Right?
Yeah, almost everyone's on wildcard. So that's why there's not too many price changes happening. Even falls, there aren't really anything happening. So yeah, nothing really to report from that. But that's basically it. Anything else to add?
No, just keep your eyes peeled on all the news over the next 3 days, I guess.
Yep, fair enough.
Because I've kind of been taking a break from football in general.
Yeah,
so like over the next 3 days, I'm going to dive back into it, read all the press conferences and everything.
Yeah, and I have to work on my wildcard. I haven't really touched it per se. Just been moving places according to price prices. Yeah. Cool. So that's basically it. Deadline stream will be on Saturday. And then I'll also probably maybe do a wildcard draft on Friday, one before the actual one. And then Chatbox podcast with Arvin probably tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are closing in on 400 subscribers. 6 subscribers away. We just need 6 subscribers before 400. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you all next week for episode number 45 in the Chatbox podcast. FPL podcast. See you all.
See you, everyone. So.
Yeah.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock. I'm walking alone.